everybody, welcome to Friday edition Box Seats. I'm your host Frank Holder, and this is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. We have a great conversation, and you know what, man, I can't even begin to tell you guys how excited I am to be doing the show and how excited I am to do today's show because we're going to have some hot topics. I'm sure we're going to get into some debates. So let's bring in the guys who sit in with us. First up is the comedian known as Fig. Fig, how you doing today, sir?
Yo, man, TGIF. Let's do it.
All right. Also, let me bring in my man, Mr. Mike Sean. Mike, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Listen, man. I've been arguing all morning. I've been arguing all morning on my morning show.
Yeah, I saw. All right, so I'm waiting for the other guys to join in, and if they join, they join. If they don't, we got to keep the show rolling on and everything else. I always start off the week with the COVID report, and the COVID report today is kind of, two things. One, the NBA has made it official that they're not going to allow any unvaccinated players play. And I guess I'm waiting for the official word. They're not going to allow any NBA players to play who are not vaccinated. That's number one. And number two, second story is yesterday the news came out, actually the day before yesterday. I didn't cover it yesterday. Antonio Brown is under the protocol when he's not going to be allowed to play. They're waiting for the final results. He might play this week against the Rams. He might, but right now it's still day to day. So Fig, the COVID report, nothing new. We're not shocked. We talk about this every day. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
At the end of the day, man, we keep saying the same thing, reiterating, rehearsing. Man, these guys are gonna have to figure it out that the NFL is a private company, a corporation, and they get to make rules just like everybody else. If I own a business, it's the same as owning my residence, my apartment, or whatever. I make the rules. If you want to come into my house, there's certain rules you're going to have to abide by. Like, you're not going to be opening up my refrigerator. You're not going to be putting your feet on my couch. You're going to respect my house the way that I would if I came to your place. And I'll have to respect it. In every job, every place that I've gone to on the face of this planet has rules. You go in the library, you can't talk loud. You can't play loud music. If you get on the subway, you got to pay your fare. There's just rules everywhere you go in life. So the NFL has their rules. The NBA has their rules. Either follow them or go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mike Sean, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
Pulled in like so many different ways. I'm vaccinated. I understand what Fig is saying, and what everything he's saying is accurate. Everything he is saying, and if the NBA union, if the Players Association has agreed to this, then there's really nothing for the players to do, either play or get vaccinated or don't play. I don't want to be on the wrong side of history when 15 years from now we may realize, and once again, I am vaccinated, that this vaccine wasn't something that we should have taken. And I think it's deeper than just do what you want us to do and play if you want to play. I think this is a bigger story. And for a sports debate show, we really can't get into all the aspects of it because we want to keep it on sports. But there's so many different opinions. And I'm talking about science also has different opinions on this vaccination and how long it took to get actually certified and actually it got cleared. And the FDA didn't clear it when we were taking these vaccinations. When I took the vaccination, it was not cleared by the FDA. So it's a bigger issue than what we're saying, but I get it's a sports thing. So the NBA Players Association agreed to it, so I don't think the players have a choice but either get vaccinated or sit on the sidelines and protest against it.
At the end of the day, everything he said is right too, because this thing has tentacles. It stretches out, far beyond sports and everything else. And we could be talking about, but then we end up talking more about politics and everything else. And we're trying to keep it. We got an hour to talk about some stuff. So let's jump into the show. Fig, I'm gonna throw this out to you, man. I'm not sure if you saw this, but Kansas City Chiefs coach Greg Lewis, he's under fire for shoving a player from Cleveland when they played last week, named Ronnie Harrison. He shoved him. They got into a little bit of thing, everything else. Here's the reason why I'm bringing it up, and I'm gonna start with you, is because there have been some people, some rumbling and saying, besides a fine and everything else, you're supposed to set a standard. You're supposed to be above that. And you should not be going back and forth with a player and even put your hands on a player, especially on a nationally televised game. So some of these same people have been sitting up there saying that this coach should be fired. What's your thoughts on what's going on right now with, especially out of Kansas City, because Greg Lewis is under a lot of when I say a lot of press on this, he's going in the Kansas City area. He's under the heat on this one, bro. He's under the heat on this one, and I'm not even going to bring up the color. I'm not even bringing up the color issue. You can already imagine what color he is. So what's your thoughts?
It's crazy. Here's the thing. It's football. And football is arguably one of the most violent gladiator sports that we have in modern day America. And we're talking about a push, a shove to a man who is probably 200 plus pounds of predominantly mostly muscle, wearing a helmet, shoulder pads, rib pads, thigh pads, knee pads, got on elbow pads, hand pads, gloves. And when do coaches wear? A hoodie, a clipboard, and we talking about he pushed him and his job is in jeopardy because you pushed a football player. Not a little league, not a kid, not T-ball, not a 6-year-old, not a little girl, not a woman. He didn't assault a woman. He pushed a football player. He didn't go out on the field and push him. He was on the sideline, and he pushed a football player, and his job is in jeopardy.
Okay, Mike, let me ask you this a bit. Do you take Fig's take on this? Because like a lot of people are saying, now I'm not even giving you my opinion on this yet, but a lot of people are upset because he put his hands on an NFL player and he's a coach with a certain standard. What's your take on this, Mike?
There's a line that shouldn't be crossed, and I understand what Fig's saying. There's a line that shouldn't be crossed. There's just a line that shouldn't be crossed. There was a famous head coach in college who actually tackled a player while he was running.
Right. I remember that.
He tripped him.
And there were actually two coaches who actually snapped. I'm going to say this. I think the coach should not be fired, but he should be disciplined, because what could set off in that, and it's a bad protocol that you're putting out there. You can't push another player, because what we don't want is an ugly situation where both benches clear and they're sitting on, and it turns into a crazy thing. And I know I don't want to take it to what happened in Detroit, but we don't want to take it there. I think he should be disciplined. Fired? Probably not. No, let me not say probably not. He shouldn't be fired. He shouldn't be fired. Mm-hmm. But he should be disciplined. He should have to miss a game. He should have to miss a game, because if a player had initiated that against the coach, he would have been disciplined severely. Like if he would have just blatantly started this and set this off, I think he would have been. And I'm just trying to remember the highlight. In the highlight, the coach actually pushed the player first, right?
Yeah, he did. But see, the NFL pundits is literally, which you hit the nail on the head. The NFL pundits are concerned that in the future, this could have caused a bench clearing type of situation, and it could have got completely out of hand real fast. And we all know how the NFL is, talks about, handling this fighting situation. They frown upon it heavily, and he got fined $12,000, $14,000. You know what I mean? So they really, really frown upon that and everything else. So there's the situation of that.
Because if that player would have punched him in the face,
right, then
it would have really looked ugly.
Right, and that's what they're trying to say. My take on this is that you should get fined and everything else, and maybe suspended, not just for a game. I think maybe you should be suspended for like 2 or 3 games, only because you're the coach. You're the coach. You're the coach. Fig, look at this. Look at. I'm saying it because of this. The domino effect that could have happened because of this. No. I don't want them to take his money from him and everything else, but the domino effect. If you're the head of the organization and then you lose your calm, it could have got really ugly really quickly. But that's my take. Everybody has their own opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My thing is that the sport within itself is violent.
No, I got that part. We get that.
If you want to fine him, all right, you're gonna fine him $14,000 is a lot of money. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you're $14,000 is a lot of money. You fine the guy $14,000. That's enough.
Yeah, but you have to be consistent. Players are getting 15-yard penalties for taunting. Right now. You can't have a coach push another player, because if you don't suspend them, and then a player says something or a coach says something and the player jacks off or shoots off on a coach,
Whoa.
I know. That was horrible. That was hard.
Whoa.
That was a hard. Yeah, let me do myself. Let me do myself. If a player hooks off on a coach, it's going to get ugly. So you have to set a precedent now that you cannot touch a coach and a coach can't touch a player. There is no exception.
Right,
I think
none,
they should be able, and the coach ain't even in the heat of the moment. The coach has no excuse. The coach ain't even hitting nobody. The coach just went off and pushed another player. I'm sitting there going like, why would you do that? Like, they got to set a precedent on this.
Not only that, the coach is the one who always reprimands the players on their own teams to keep their head calm and cool and collect. You know what I mean? The coach is the guy. So if the coach loses his mind, I don't know. We can talk about this for hours.
You know what? It's right, but you know what? I think the fining for taunting or the penalty for taunting is absolutely ridiculous, because it's like you're taking emotion out of the game. How do you take emotion out of, like, if I score a touchdown, I can't celebrate. I can't, or if a defensive player makes a good play, he can't.
Man, I get it. Let's move on. Let's get on, because we can talk about that for hours. Football. Yeah. Here's the thing. I wanted to bring up this next subject because this one made a lot of my bells and whistles go out. You know, there was a high school player. He broke Derrick Henry's record, okay? But the high school player is handicapped. This kid, his name is Kyler Wagner. He ran for 542 yards in a single game on 25 carries and got 6 TDs. He has everything from this on up, missing. Basically from here on up, missing, okay?
Wow.
Derrick Henry, 502 yards, 45 carries, 6 TDs in a single game. Again, same high school as Derrick Henry and everything else. So his parents were asked a question, which made me go, wow, that's a pretty good question. His parents were asked, do you think that your son will make it to the NFL? Which made me go, you know what? That's a pretty great question. I want to ask the guys, should handicapped players, especially when they're breaking phenomenal records, should they be allowed to go D1? And then if they do break records in D1, should they be allowed to go pro? So I want to ask you, Fig, you know, if this guy's breaking records like this right now, and he's in high school, he has no left hand or forearm. And if he could do the same thing in the pros, should he be allowed to do it in the pros? What's your take on this, Fig?
Listen, the pros is a different animal, man. Look, high school sports is one thing, college sports is the next level, but when you get to the pros, everybody is the best. From wherever they came from. You know, you may be the best in your city, in your high school, in your conference, whatever, and stuff like that. But when you start moving up the ranks to college and the pros, these guys are the best of the best. Derrick Henry wouldn't be Derrick Henry without 2 hands. Do you know how many times a player with 2 hands gets the football stripped? I mean, that's what players try and do. They try and strip the ball out of your hands. How you going to hold on to the ball with 1 hand? That's what I'm concerned with.
No, I get that, but I'm going to ask you the question to give you one more shot to answer this question. Because I'm saying the question is, if you can do it in the pros and if you can do it on D1, should you be allowed to do it? We already know the discrepancy.
Listen, I'm all for ability. If you have the ability and you have the skills to be able to make it to the next level, yeah, I don't think the fact that he's missing part of a limb should not be the only deciding factor or disqualifying factor. No, if he can do it, then yeah. I don't think because he's slightly physically challenged that he shouldn't be able to do it. If he can make the team, yeah, definitely.
Mike, now before I throw it to you, I'm going to say this: if I'm the parents and he is as good and everything, and he doesn't get it good, I would sue on the basis of, we have an NFL player right now who's playing for the Tampa Bay Bucks who is handicapped right now. He's missing a couple of fingers because he blew his hand up. You know, the guy used to play for the Giants.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. I would use that as a precedent. But that's me going a little bit too far because, because again, if I was the parent and everything else. But I'm going to throw it to you, Mike. Let's say you have a handicapped son and everything else, or whatever. Do you think a handicapped player who's breaking records right now, again, breaking records, should get the opportunity to play in pro ball?
We already have a player that is missing a hand, an entire limb. He has a prosthetic on his arm with
That's right.
Shaquem.
Seattle.
Yeah, he's with Seattle. Of course he should. If you can make it happen, you can make it happen. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, trust me, a team's only putting you on a team if you can make it happen. And if he's a running back and he can run with one arm and he can literally protect the ball tight enough with that one arm, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. You should go all the way in. And listen, when you're breaking records like that, when you're breaking records like running 500 yards, there's got to be something. If they can't catch you and you're strong enough to hold on to that ball, listen, there are fumble-itis running backs in the league right now. I remember when Tiki Barber fumbled 6 times against the Eagles, and he had 2 good arms, and he finally learned how to change the way he held the ball when he ran with it. That kind of settled that and made that happen. Of course. God bless him. Go do it and go get your endorsements and go get your commercials in college and represent all that.
I agree with that 100%.
You think, again, Mike, you said something that struck a nerve. You think he should go all the way in, huh?
Anytime you are in a situation, go all the way in.
Let's not go there. Let me bring up the next subject. My man Rodney Perry's joining the show. Rodney, how you doing today, sir? How's everything?
Uncle Rodney.
Well, let me bring up the next topic. All right, since Rodney's joining the show now, let me bring up the next topic.
I say no to the handicap.
Okay. All right, here's the next topic. I'm gonna start with you, Fig. Yesterday, or was the day before? I'm not sure. I was talking about there was an NBA executive. He got fired. His name is Gerson Rosas. He got fired because he basically was having an affair with another person in the executive offices of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right. Since that time of that firing, and I'm gonna start with you, Fig. Karl Anthony Towns has been leaking information to people around him and in his circle and everything else, saying he's extremely upset with that because of the simple fact being, A, he loves the guy, absolutely loves him. And then he threw up something that one of our people who are in the comments said the same thing. They said, if Jeannie Buss and Coach Phil Jackson can have an affair and have extramarital affair and everything else, and it's consensual, why can't Alex Rosas have an affair and still be with the team? And so he's real upset, again, leaking information and causing concern that he wants to get out of Minnesota. He's very, very, very unhappy. So what do you think? Do you think the Minnesota Timberwolves did this situation, or do you think that they might bring him back? Because right now, there's talks in Minnesota right now that they literally might even bring this guy back to keep Karl Anthony Towns happy. What's your thoughts on this, Vic?
Well, there's so many things to unpack here. First off, players have more power than coaches. We already know that, especially if you're a star or an all-star caliber type player. So if Karl Anthony Towns wants him back, chances are he will come back. Here's the difference between Minnesota and LA. Her last name was Buss. Her father owned the team. So she was a partial owner. And Phil Jackson was a coach. So neither one of them were married. There's a lot of things that's different here. I thought we said the other day or yesterday that one of these people in Minnesota, one of these people were married or something. So that's major. Like, yo, you can't be messing with married people. That opens us up a can of worms and lawsuits, potential violence in the workplace. The whole, that's a lot to unpack. But Jeannie Buss, I'm like, listen, this dude is not a partial owner of the team. His father doesn't own the team. You know what I mean? So it's a major difference. Like, ain't nobody getting rid of Jeannie Buss, and wasn't nobody firing Phil Jackson because they had an affair. Not Jerry Buss. Dr. Buss loved Phil.
Okay, so Mike, where are you standing on this right now? Because I think now I haven't read the bylaws and everything else on this and everything else, but I'm thinking that it's either you can't fraternize with the person and everything else in the office, or you can, because you can't really fire somebody because they had an affair and anything else. Now, I'm gonna dive in deep on that, but tell me what you think on this, because honestly, you know, it's a great point. Karl Anthony Towns and his people, they made a great point. You know what I mean? And to me, like, either you can allow it or you won't allow it. It can't be one or the other, no matter what your status is, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Not to say that what Fig said is wrong, but whether you own the team and they coach the team, and this guy right here was the president of basketball operations. The only person higher than him was basically the ownership. What's your thought on this, Mike?
Damn. He got a point.
right?
I mean, I get it that I think Jenny Buss and Phil Jackson were engaged before he took the job, but I don't know. I mean, he has a point. He really does. Now, I get the fact that the woman was married, but having affairs within the company. So you're telling me just because it's an affair and the person's married, then that changes everything? That gets real sticky also. I mean, that gets a little funny acting too. I don't know if he should have been, damn, Carl Anthony. Damn, if you would have done this much critical thinking on the basketball court, I think the Timberwolves would have literally Jesus, like you really do have. I mean, I get what Fig's saying but in the letter of the law, he's kind of right that you can't have it both ways. And even if the other affair was messy and maybe not morally upstanding, it's still the same. It's still the same action. You're having physical contact and sex with a fellow employee. So
Right.
he got a point.
That's what I was there too. I think he got a great point because, I was talking to my wife about this situation only because, at Harvard, she said that a lot of the companies she works at, you cannot fraternize with people. You just can't do it like that. So she said that there's certain contracts that people write out, they make you sign saying, no matter whether you're single, or it doesn't matter. You can't mix and match. You know what I mean? So if they're mixing and matching and they're doing this, Rodney, either you allow it or you don't allow it. That's the way I'm looking at it. So what's your take on this, Ryan? Either you allow it or you don't. You can't have one team saying it's okay, another team saying you can't, and they both under the
Harvard out there too. Harvard said it.
I mean, you can absolutely have it that way because each team is a different entity, right? I taught this. I taught sexual harassment in the Navy for people that were coming into the workplace. And you would have a briefing, and I taught that briefing. So there's a couple things we got to realize. If it's a senior subordinate relationship, that matters, right? And if this guy's at the top of the food chain, everybody is subordinate to him. But it's also relative to people's perception. People's perception matters. So the perception in the Laker organization might not be the same perception in a Timberwolves organization. And then the last thing I'll bring up, and I'll leave it alone after this, is Karl Anthony Towns the hoe. So like anytime
what the hell?
Anytime you bring up another man's indiscretion when describing your situation, that makes you a hoe. And so just the sheer fact that he would have the audacity to call out something. I mean, and we saw this before. And when Kobe got in trouble, he implicated Shaq. He was a hoe for that. And so I say Karl Anthony Towns, although you make up a great point, as Mike Sean said, you a hoe, my friend.
Yeah, but Rodney, he's for the guy. He wants the guy to come back.
He's defending the guy.
Yeah, the way he chose to do it makes him a hoe. The way he chose to do it makes him a hoe.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Bugsy, you can't say that I love the guy.
And for human and just for true transparency in the NBA, you can't have specific. Every team has to have the same sexual harassment laws in every team. They can't freestyle their own things. But I get what Rodney's saying.
They absolutely can.
I was about to say that too.
Not in the NBA. They can't. Not in the NBA. They can't.
No,
but they just did. They just did.
That's what I'm saying. That's why everybody's mad. That's why everybody's mad.
Under the Players Association.
Again, the whole factor makes people go, how dare you bring that up, Karl Anthony Towns?
All right, let me move on. Let me move on. Since we're speaking about hope factor, and I'm gonna go out there on this one. I saw the news. I think you guys saw the news on this one yesterday. Kevin Durant was supposedly, according to Stephen A. Smith, Kevin Durant blocked a potential trade for Kyrie Irving versus Ben Simmons and everything else like that. And honestly, I don't think it should have been any of those other players. I think KD should have let the team figure it all out. Ben Simmons and everything else figure it all out, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want players on certain teams to start, stepping over the lines and then start trying to nix and trying to block trades, because I could see, you can see the tip of the iceberg coming to me. Like, The NBA players already have too much power to me. Now, if you can get them to be so much power where they start to block trades and everything else for other players who are on their team, I think it's going to be something extremely ugly. It's going to be a lot worse than what it is right now. That's my opinion. What's your take on this, Fig? Since you're doing all this special effects, what's your take?
Listen, Linda, listen. The NBA organizations have been doing this for years. They trade, they block trades. The commissioner blocked the trade for Chris Paul to LA. Put it to you this way. If not for Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets wouldn't have had Kevin Durant. Whatever team Kyrie Irving decided to go to, Kevin Durant was signing with that team. And that was it. Those guys in the offseason decided, look, we want to play together on the same team. So let's figure it out. Whatever team you go to, we're going to go there. So they go there for 1 year when Kevin Durant is healthy. And the very next year, you're going to trade him away? Oh, no. Kevin Durant was like, no, man, no. You want to trade somebody, go ahead. But not this dude. This dude is the reason that I'm here. Do you realize that? This is the dude that I wanted to play with. That's why I signed with the Brooklyn Nets organization. You can't get rid of him. Not that guy.
All right, Mike, are you understanding my question? My point is,
we understand.
Not that Fig didn't, but Mike, I want to ask you this. Do you think the players are getting you think the players yourself are going to be getting too much power? Like, you know what I mean? Do you see the tip of the iceberg of the problem situation that I can see? I mean, because what Kevin Durant did, if what Stephen A. Smith said is right, what he did, next thing you know, LeBron could do it. I mean, just go down the list of all these guys. I think it's ugly. What you think, Mike?
Before I say this, I respect Kyrie Irving. He's not reliable because basketball isn't the number one thing in his life. And I respect that. I respect that he has bigger ambitions and thoughts. The Brooklyn Nets wanted to trade him because they know this. And they know at any time Kyrie Irving can go off and take a 3-week vacation and say, I don't feel like playing. What Kevin Durant did, and forget having more power, because there are certain players that can block a trade and teams that block trades and stuff like that. And David Stern disrespected Kobe Bryant. That's why he didn't let Chris Paul play with him and win more championships. My point is what Kevin Durant did, he doesn't know what he did is wrong, because that one team with James Harden healthy and Kevin Durant, and you add a Ben Simmons, that is actually one of the perfect situations to have Ben Simmons in. Because now all you're asking him to do is play defense, scores 15 points a game and 7 assists, and you get to use all his talents. He's an all-star player. And Kevin Durant is so concerned with keeping Kyrie Irving, and I get that's his boy. But if you add that piece, for somebody like Kyrie, we don't know what Kyrie's going to do this year. We don't know if Kyrie's going to disappear. So what Brooklyn was doing was really looking out for the team. Once again, I respect that Kyrie has bigger interest than just the league. But if I'm a general manager, I'm like, KD, I'm doing this for the betterment of the team. And now we have somebody on defense who we can put on Giannis. He can't stop Giannis. But you have an excellent defensive player. Listen, Kyrie Irving has only been effective one time in his career when it comes to championships, when he played with LeBron. Whenever he's the major part and major focus of a team, he has disappointed them repeatedly. That just goes there. There is no debate on that. It's just facts. That's just facts.
I'm not even stopping you on that part. I mean, I agree with some of the stuff you said, but I'm trying to see if I can get you, Roddy. Maybe Fig said some stuff. I get that he's saying. Mike said some stuff. I get what he's saying too. But Roddy, do you see an issue with this and everything else? Because players have had say, and I want to make sure I make this clear. Players have had some say in blocking trade. Never before in NBA history has a player had the power that they do now to be able to block trades the way they have it right now in 2021. They don't have it like that. I don't care what nobody says. But Kevin Durant stepped forward, and basically, according to Stephen A. Smith, and block that trade. What's your take on that? Because I don't like that at all. That's my take.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't like that, Frank. You are light skinned. I mean, would you have us go back to the plantation? Yes, players have more power than they've ever had before, and why not? Why not? You know, or should they go back to the old days where they could wake up one morning and have to go to Phoenix? You know, they pick their family up and go somewhere else. That still happens, mind you. Okay, the organizations are not geniuses. They make mistakes. They trade people in the middle of the night. They trade people on a whim. They trade people because personal things. They don't like a guy. So I'm glad that the players have more power. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing in going forward. Now, certain people might not need power, but overall, the blanket of your question is a detriment of the league. A guy like Kevin Durant, who is a basketball aficionado, would this guy, would you listen to him as an expert? Absolutely. He's been playing this game all his life. He knows who he want to run with. You might not agree with him, but he knows if he go to battle, he want to go to battle with Kyrie. He don't want to go to battle with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons can't get it done in Philly. That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, and let me ask you this.
Not, Frank.
Let me say this. When you get to the playoffs and the finals, things slow down, right? And they play a different brand of basketball. Can I foul Ben Simmons and put him on the line? Who would you rather on the line? Kyrie Irving at the end of the game. You want Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons on the line taking a foul shot?
Yeah, but that's not the point. But that's not the point. The point is
that's why I want him on my team instead of Ben Simmons. That's my point.
No, but can I say something?
My point is, the question was being able to. Are we giving these NBA players too much power if we start allowing NBA?
I want him to have more power. I want him to have more power. I want him to have ownership.
How about
I want him to have power. I want him to have all of it.
Go ahead,
Mike. How about Frank? How about we go back in time and we go to the slave master and tell him the Harriet Tubman is taking people off the camp plantation? Too much power.
Now you're getting ridiculous. Go ahead, Mike.
I honestly don't mind the players having power. I just that's why I wanted to point out I think Kevin Durant made a bad decision because he can't trust Kyrie Irving.
No, I get that.
I think Kyrie Irving is amazing. I think he's an amazing player. I just don't know. If Kyrie Irving in the middle of the season, if he retired, none of us would be shocked.
Yeah,
none of us would be shocked.
Here's the person. I know maybe I don't trust Kyrie. Maybe you don't. Anybody on this panel, maybe we don't trust Kyrie. Guess who trusts Kyrie?
Yeah, of course.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and let me ask you guys.
That's the guy who has to play with him.
Let me ask you this question. If you all had a car, right? And you owned the car outright, but you was giving somebody a passenger a ride, right? You gave him a ride back and forth to work, everything like that. Would you want that passenger in your ride to tell you what insurance to get on your car?
No.
So let me understand your analogy. The teams own these guys, so they should shut the fuck up.
That's not what I'm saying. I ain't say shut up. Almost. But if I look, let me ask you this, Frank. I'm gonna start with you. If you
it's the slave analogy, Frank. You're used to them being slaves, and you're upset that they're no longer slaves.
If you own the team outright. You got to care for the ownership of the team. You take care of the building, the people, and everything. You own the team, but you hire somebody that you're paying. You're paying this person right now to come in. Would you want that person that you are paying to be able to tell you how to move and block and do other things with other players? Because me, whether the person's purple, I don't want nobody telling me what to do if I own.
I understand that, but here's the difference, Frank. Here's the difference. This is not an ownership, hire employee type thing. They're partners.
Yes, it is.
No.
They're not.
No, you have to listen. Let me think. You asked me a question. Let me give you my answer. They're partners. The NBA players own partnership with the NBA ownership. It's like 49-50. So they're not just employees. They have a vested interest. They're shareholders in the NBA as a corporation. They
You're
own
wrong,
shares. They're
wrong.
partners.
That's not.
So yeah, partners do have a say so.
No, you're correct. You're correct in the profits. Real quick, Vic. You're correct in the profits. You are correct in the profits.
Here's a big because I was interrupted. I didn't get a chance to finish. The people that you're talking about are the ones that generate the money. So those are. It's not just the owner. The owners don't generate shit. The players are the ones who generate the money.
And they're paid to do it. They're not doing it for free. They're paid to do it, one, and then they get a percentage split on top of the ad revenue that comes in, $49.50. They don't own the team that they come in on.
They're not regular employees. They are shareholders. There's a difference between. I know. As a group, they own a percentage of the NBA. They're shareholders. There's a difference between an employee and a shareholder.
Fig. When they sell the.
I need the bully on here to explain the difference.
But I'll explain to you right now. When you sell the team, the players don't make any money off the sales of the team.
Yes,
the owner makes the money. Yes. They have a partnership in splitting the profit money that comes into the league. You're right. It's 50-49. But as a team, I don't make any money. I'm not a shareholder in the team.
Not at all. There's not.
Of the entire NBA. I was talking about the entire NBA.
Right.
Okay, well, let's move on because I want to move on to the next thing that's going to get us all hot and everything else too, because I want to talk about this next topic too, because Zion Williamson also popped up, and when I do this stuff, Zion Williamson popped up, and this is a hot topic too for me because the simple fact being, everybody knows he wants out. In the last couple of weeks, a couple of reporters out in the New Orleans area have reported that Zion wants out so bad, he's willing to make some type of, I don't know if what you ever want to call it, but he's willing to concede to be able to be traded out before his contract's up. We all know he wants to go to New York. So my question to you, Fig, since we're talking about New York and you're in New York, should Zion agree to a trade now and then become a free agent? Or should he sit there and deal with whatever's happening and then play out and everything else? Because Zion is the big news right down in New Orleans. What do you think, Fig?
I think that Zion should get out by any means necessary. If we have to do a seance and resurrect the spirit of Harriet Tubman, and they have to get him out of there in the middle of the night and follow the North Star through all kind of swamp lands and stuff like that for him to get back up north or wherever it is that he wants to go, I think he needs to get out of there. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's my reasons. The organization doesn't seem to be run very well. Ever since he's gotten to the NBA, he had a new coach every single year, and all of the players that he built a relationship or some kind of chemistry with has been traded. So if I was Zion Williamson with that kind of talent and potential of his future being great, I would want to get out of that type of organization too.
Okay, so Mike, what's your take on this? If you're Zion Williamson right now and you see the direction that obviously New Orleans is going, do you wait because he could approve or any trade and everything else? Do you wait, sit it out, or wait to free agency? What's your thoughts?
This is the only reason. I understand New Orleans is a badly run organization, and I think Milwaukee has shown you that you can keep a megastar if you do the right moves. And I get he wants to get out of here. My only reason, and I tell him to pause for a second, is because of a team like the Knicks trades with New Orleans. They got to trade everything.
Right.
And you got to start from the beginning again. Now, if the Knicks do it, I'm not mad at it. I'm a Knicks fan. Like, I'm willing to trade everything. But if I'm Zion, I'm like, do I want to just play this contract out and then go to a team that just has to fit my salary cap, that just has to fit my salary in there and we can negotiate? Or do I want to go to a team and then trust that I have to now rebuild the Knicks because they're going to want all the major parts that the Knicks have. And they're going to want draft picks. They're going to want the whole boatload, and they deserve it because Zion is worth that much. So that's my only pause is because I don't want him to have to come back to New York and start all over. Carmelo Anthony did the same thing.
Right. You're absolutely right. Except Carmelo Anthony was going to make a lot of money. Zion Williamson is still on his rookie contract. He's not making mega millions like Carmelo was. It's different. The money has to match, not players.
All right, let me ask before we start getting out of turn. Let me ask Rodney, what's your take on this? Do you think Zion Williamson should accept a trade to any other team and get out? I'm not talking about a trade to the Knicks. I'm saying the Knicks, he wants to go to the Knicks. The Knicks want him and everything else. But if he gets traded, it won't be to New York right now. So do you think he should wait until he becomes a free agent and Knicks any trade? Or should he take the trade now, play it out, and then become a free agent and play for the Knicks? What's your take?
The team is not going to trade Zion. You know, this is the perfect example, carrying over what we talked about just before. The only thing that makes a difference with a player is power. Zion has no power. He just has no power in this situation. So he's gonna play this contract out, and he's, as a free agent, he's gonna get to go wherever he wants to go, but not before that. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening too much either. But you know, if he makes enough noise, you just never know whatever can happen. But Fig, you ready to do the top dogs? So after that, I want to jump into this baseball situation, like I promised everybody yesterday, because I want to ask people about that in a second. But Fig, you ready to do this top dogs report?
Yeah, man, we gonna knock this out the box, man, so you can get to it. Top dogs of the week.
Okay, let's do it.
I got my 5. You pick yours. Number 1 on my list. I got to give it to my man. We just talked about baseball. Aaron Judge hits a 3-run homer to lead the Yankees over the Texans 7-1. New York is a half game behind the Blue Jays for the second spot in the wild card. Aaron Judge, still a dog. Number 2 on my list, I give it to my man Aaron Rodgers in a bounce back game, passing for 225 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Green Bay 35, Detroit 17. Third on my list, Lamar Jackson. Good Lord. One-man wrecking show. 239 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He actually threw 2 interceptions, but he ran for 107 yards. 2 touchdowns rushing. A grand total of 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. Baltimore 36, Kansas City 35. Lamar Jackson put that team on his shoulder. He's a dog. 4th on my list, I got to give it to the young lady, a DAWG dog. Skylar Diggins-Smith dropped 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists in a comeback win, leading the Phoenix Mercury over the New York Liberty 83-82. Skylar Diggins-Smith, a dog. Last on my list, I got to give it to this man that's been crushed so many times. He was a former Jet quarterback, Sam Darnold, last night passing for 304 yards, scored 2 rushing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, leading the Carolina Panthers over the Houston Texans 24-9 for their 3rd straight win. They're 3-0 for the year. Sam Darnold, another dog.
I wonder if people are going to take Sam Darnold up as an MVP conversation this year, at least in the top 5. But by the way, I like that. That was a great top. I like that top.
That was
5.
a great list. Shout out to Sam Darnold. He showed some courage last night because he was
sure
getting
did.
hammered.
He sure did. All right, Mike, I want to throw this question out to you, man.
I got a question for Fig before we move on. That young lady, does that make her a female dog?
DAWG dog.
Thank you for interrupting me. I appreciate that. Mike, let me ask you this question, man. I'm going to ask you this. Shohei Ohtani, he is the 3rd in MVP right now. 45 home runs, 265, 256 batting average and everything else, but as a pitcher and a rookie, and saved the Angels organization this year for the year easily got them more W's and everything else. People out there having a conversation and in baseball circles saying that he should be MVP for the year. But then on the flip side, there's just as many people saying he shouldn't be. I'm going to ask you this. We have a Japanese player who set all kinds of records, who broke Babe Ruth's records, and people are having this discussion. Fair and unfair. What you think?
Man, it's baseball always shoots himself in the foot, Joe. This guy is doing something that is so extraordinary. Now, mind you, there are other players who could be the MVP of the league. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having an amazing season. Bryce Harper's having an amazing season with the Philadelphia Phillies. But I get it. But my thing is, guys, This guy's doing something spectacular that has never been done before. He's doing something incredible. I don't want to hear about Babe Ruth. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth or anything like that. Guys, just ride the wave. Ride the wave. And you know what? I'll do you one better. Ride the wave and get him to the Yankees. Just ride the wave so you can promote this guy and promote your sport correctly.
I don't think there's any doubt, Mike, that he's going to be on the Yankees. I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't think there's any doubt.
Like, give him the MVP. The guy was a starting pitcher in the All-Star game and was in the home run derby. That just doesn't make any sense. What he's doing is obnoxious. Just push him and get him in these commercials. Why he's not in commercial? I know he doesn't speak the language. They can make the commercials where he doesn't have to say a word.
Oh,
they can make tons of commercials.
But it would be even hilarious if he spoke this language and they had subtitles.
Yeah, that would be funny. There's tons of commercials running right now in Japan with him on. Don't get it twisted. Rodney Perry, man, you okay? Because I want to ask you your take on this, man. Do you think it should even be a discussion? He already broke all the Babe Ruth records and everything else. I don't even think it should be a discussion. This dude should be MVP, and he should get every vote. You know what I mean? So what's your take on this?
I mean, baseball is still run by white people, man. So, and white people don't like change, and so it's not going to be any change. And maybe his grandson could win, but he won't.
Wow, that's your take. You don't think he's going to win at all? Okay, Fig, what'd you take?
He's not going to win.
Okay,
they already said it. Let me tell you something about white folks. White folks have spoken. This, like you saying you don't like players having power. They don't in baseball.
No, I can't even argue that.
And the reason why is race.
I can't even argue that. But Fig, you think Shohei Ohtani should be the MVP of the league right now? Like of all things I said, what's your take?
Well, here's the thing. I think we have to wait until it's over. I mean, I know we're almost in October, but I think if he's leading in all these categories by the time the regular season is said and done, and especially if they make it into the postseason, then by all means, I think he did. I think he's proven himself. I think the numbers qualify it, but unfortunately, it could be more like Rodney said. We talk about how those old school baseball rules and regulations and unspoken rules, and it just like if they don't like you, they don't care what your numbers are.
Right. All right. Last question. I want to get this question and last question. We're going to do the picks amongst ourselves and tell everybody else, since some of the guys not on today, we're going to have to do the picks amongst ourselves, the NFL picks. And then we're going to tell everybody the results on Monday and see where we are after 3 weeks. But Mike, I'm going to start with you with this, man. The question has been raised in Miami because Miami's playing the Raiders this week. The Raiders look like Raiders right now, as we know, they're 3-0. The Raiders got Derek Carr. He's literally in MVP conversation. He's thrown for over 800 yards, almost 900 yards so far right now. He's balling out of control. But people in Miami are saying, why is not somebody reached out to Cam Newton to get Cam Newton down there and everything else? So do you think the Dolphins should roll with Jacoby Brissett right now for the next couple of weeks because Tua's injured? Or do you think they should just say Jacoby's the man, and if Jacoby gets hurt, then we'll just have to rough it out and everything else? Or do you think they should call Cam Newton? What's your thoughts on this, Mike?
It's just tough. And it just really doesn't have to do with Cam's talent. It's just tough to bring Cam in there or any quarterback in there in midweek and figure out a playbook that fast. I don't care if it's Joe Montana. Like, it's just Brissett has won games in the league. He did not do poorly with the Colts. He's a top 5 backup quarterback. He's a top 5 backup quarterback. I think you ride out there with him, and then you have to make a decision. Now, this is not Tua's fault that he's hurt. He got his ribs cracked. But since college, we're talking about an ankle, a hip. He got hurt last year with the Dolphins. He was hurt, and now he's got the ribs. Not saying it's his fault, but I'm saying they got to start making a decision on Tua this year, whether they can rely on him. Is he big enough? Can he handle the punishment of the NFL season? They got to make a choice. But I would say we're Brissett right now because he knows the game plan. He knows the playbook.
Right. Rodney, they want to bring in Cam because they're thinking it's the same type of scheme, with the running type of quarterback. That would be Tua, Jacoby, and then bring in Cam. So the Miami Dolphins people, especially people in Miami, they think that it makes sense to bring in Cam. What's your thoughts?
I mean, should Cam have a home in the NFL? Absolutely. If not Miami, somewhere. Mm-hmm. We've seen quarterbacks go down every week. Cam Newton should be on a team somewhere right now. I don't know if it's Miami. I mean, Miami seems to be one of those organizations that's always trying to figure it out, and they always get it wrong. So I don't know about Miami, but you know, I think the theme of this show has been, you know, power. You know, and you know, NFL players don't have the power of NBA players, and we're seeing that time and time again.
Fig, what's your take? You think that honestly that Cam Newton should go down there? Because again, like I said to Rodney, man, Cam could fit in honestly because their scheme is running quarterback. You know what I mean? That whole scheme. You know, you got to have that type of quarterback. What's your take?
I think with an NFL quarterback with the talent and ability of a Cam Newton, you can put in a few plays for the week and let him go on the fly. You know what I mean? A few passing. I mean, it's not like he's a novice about football. You know, totally. You know what I mean? He's played at a high level. Played for Carolina. Played for the Patriots. I don't think that he is like oblivious to playing football. You can go out there and wing it. But I tell you another place. Pittsburgh. Ben don't look that good. They look like they could use a quarterback that's mobile, and I think you could win games with a Cam Newton, either down in Miami or in Pittsburgh. But yo, man, I think Cam still got a lot left in the tank, and an NFL team should give him a shot.
Yeah, and like one of our users just said, man, Houston should be calling him too, man. Because Houston's defense looked real good last night, but their offense looked horrible. So
is it just me, or there's an underlying tone against Cam Newton in this league, and it's just not white or black? It's just not white or black, because Mike Tomlinson is not messing with him either, and his former coach in Washington, when they needed a quarterback, wouldn't touch him either. So I'm just saying, I'm just speculating. It seems to be a tone where everybody's like, okay, now that you need us, we're finally getting you back for whatever happened. I don't know.
It might be the vaccination.
I think it's COVID. I think it's the COVID, the vaccine.
The vaccination. Right. It might be that. Fig, tell everybody out there how they can follow us, bro. How they can follow you.
You can follow me at www.igotmyvaccine2, just like michaelshawn.com. No, you can follow me at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms. Got that vaccine on the box seat Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. This is the best damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama and your daddy.
Mike, talk to me.
Hit me at Mike Sean Comedy, September 30th, Arlington Improv. You're in the DFW area, come down. And shout to Uber Eats, because no matter how much they mess up your order, you never send it back.
He said Uber Eats.
I ain't ordered none of this. I didn't order none of this in the bag, yo. None of this. I ain't ordered sweet potato fries. I didn't know, but I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody's mad right now because you got their order.
Yeah, I got their whole order.
Yeah. I'll take the sweet potato fries.
Mike,
I'm gonna eat them.
Right, Roddy, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
I'm easy to find. RoddyPerry.com is the website. Roddy Perry Live on all social media, and we're everywhere, but we're nowhere. I'm battling a little cold right now.
Yeah, y'all. You know what, y'all? This is the box seats. We do the show live from 1 to 2. We do the replay on Humor Mill. Monday, we're going to do a recap of what happened in the NFL this weekend. We're going to finish this Cam Newton discussion. We got to even talk about Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold, whether y'all believe it or not, is 3-0. We haven't even touched that yet. We got to also see who's going to be still undefeated. And we're going to talk about this Bucs-Rams game on Monday. That's going to be the big hot topic, because that's what we have to talk about, these games. And we even have to talk about some stuff that's sliding in right now, real under the radar, with Dame Lillard, too. We got to talk about that, too, because I saw a couple of that stuff, too. We're going to talk about that. We'll see y'all. Make sure y'all have a great weekend. We'll see y'all Monday. The show's called The Box Seat. It's on the Humor Mill channel. Peace. Y'all take care.